So, some interesting stuff has happened this week at Real Madrid. Not only have they not won the league, and that's obviously been confirmed with Barcelona winning the league and winning it in the El Clasico, which is the first time that's happened in a fair few years, I believe. But what else has been happening off the field, Ad?
Well, it looks like Aurelien Tchouaméni should be changing his sport from football to boxing. That's all I have to say.
What's he actually done?
So it came out over X and over Instagram over the past week or so leading up to the El Clasico that there was some infighting, shall we say, in the Real Madrid changing room, and as it turns out, Tchouaméni and Fede Valverde have gotten into a fight, and Tchouaméni has absolutely knocked Valverde out.
Do they know what it is over?
Not a clue. I don't know. I don't know whether something's been said or what's happened. Like maybe he got a little bit too much in training or anything like that. But all we know so far is that Tchouaméni has cleaned Valverde out. So much so that Valverde suffered like brain injuries and had major concussion, was out of the El Clasico this past weekend. But ironically, Tchouaméni actually managed to start the game, which I think is crazy. Yeah, I think it's crazy.
And you think like Chelsea are not playing players because they just don't want them to play or they speak out in the wrong way, but you can hit another teammate and still play in the game.
Like play an El Clasico, obviously it's a big game, but the chances of like Barcelona not winning the league, say for example Real Madrid would have won at the weekend, it wouldn't have stopped Barcelona from winning the league. They would have just won it in their next game because they're so far ahead. But the fact that Tchouaméni is allowed basically to knock out another member of his teammates, and then Arbeloa has just gone, yeah, I'll just start you at the weekend. Like, I just think it's mental.
I mean, these things happen, don't they? They happen, and we don't know about them all the time in the public eye.
They do. Like, you know, you could probably go through all of the big clubs, especially the likes of like Real Madrid, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, City. You'd imagine that they would have had some sort of infighting, but it never gets like publicized as much as it has, and like it never gets to the level. I don't feel like never gets to that level that the Tchouaméni Valverde ones got to this past week. I just think it's mental.
I think this is a lesson, though, isn't it? Like to all people that have fights, is things can go really wrong. Like you might have a real disagreement with someone, but that if he'd have hit him in a way, and we don't know how he's hit him or how that thing has occurred, but if he's hitting him a certain place in a certain way, then that could end up with him losing his life, losing sensitivity in certain areas. That could be a massive issue. Go down for it.
100%. Like, you know, if there's any more like major injuries that were like caused, you're 100% right. Like, Tchouaméni's career could have been over. Fede Valverde's career, you know, thank the Lord, his career and his life's not over. But like you say, if he just hits him like ever so slightly more to wherever he hit him, or if he falls and hits his head or anything like that, then like, you know, that's the worst thing that could happen.
What do you think happens now then? Because they're going through a bit of a change potentially in management in the summer. You look at these players, like, again, these things happen and they might just shake hands and move on because they are adults and these things happen between teammates. But to the extent that it's happened, I don't know, I'm looking at it a bit differently maybe and thinking what's going to happen in the summer.
Well, logic dictates that one of them leaves. I'd imagine it would be Tchouaméni, just because I think Valverde's more of a he's more of a cult Real Madrid man, isn't he? I'd say than Tchouaméni at this stage anyway. But it actually came out a couple of days before all of this got released. It came out saying that Man United were actually interested in Tchouaméni, and there's quite a few Premier League clubs that are interested in that profile of player. So, I mean, I'd imagine that Real Madrid will probably want to cut ties with at least one of them, and I'd imagine that Tchouaméni is probably the one that will go. But then again, with Real Madrid and, you know, with the way that they operate, it wouldn't surprise me if both of them stay in the summer.
It's just interesting, isn't it? Again, these massive clubs like Real Madrid, these things happen, not all the time, but they happen. And they happen in training grounds. They happen with us not knowing what has actually occurred. And it just comes out later, doesn't it, when you listen to these podcasts, you listen to ex-footballers, who some of them you've never even heard of, that they start talking about things that have happened on the training field that have never crossed into the public eye. But when something like this, something as big as this, at a club like Real Madrid, the way that they wipe hands with people and they just go, yeah, you're moving on, I could see one of them going, and like you say, Tchouaméni, does he potentially go to Man United?
I mean, I wouldn't say no to that type of player like
Mm.
Tchouaméni. I think he's a fabulous, fabulous footballer. I mean, no reason why he shouldn't be playing for Real Madrid. He should be. I think he is at the level. You know, he'll be starting for France in the World Cup, no doubt about that. But it, automatically, like if this would have happened, like a while ago, or even if this came out recently, or this came out when Man United have brought Tchouaméni, for example, and then we hear about the Real Madrid story, you go, oh, okay, that doesn't really sway opinion. But I'd imagine with a lot of Man United fans now, they'll go, well, we don't want him. He's a bad egg. He brings like negativity to the dressing room and stuff like that. And you don't know, if he's gonna bring that personality, bring them problems with him to wherever he goes. So you look at it now and you go, well, yeah, okay, we'll take him, but Real Madrid are gonna have to offer a discount because of the off-field problems that he's been causing. So, in a way, he's hampered his long-term footballing career as well. Tchouaméni with these type of antics, it's not great for his image, is it?
No.
In any way.
And Valverde's obviously been, you'd argue that he's a Real Madrid legend. In the modern current era, he is a Real Madrid legend. Who they're going to stick up for more? I would say that Valverde is more of a key pivotal player for Real Madrid than a Tchouaméni, and I could see out of the two of them there, Tchouaméni leaving. But this cannot happen on a training field. If it's done in the street, you're getting either put away or you're having to do time for it. Just because it happens on a football training field or happens in a sporting context does not mean it's correct. So it'd be interesting to see what happens in the summer. And I'm sure we'll have in later podcast episodes where we talk about what's going to happen with Real Madrid. Tune in to our next episode where we talk about some of the Premier League interesting talking points, preferably to do with VAR. Tune in next time.